Meeting to order, determined as a quorum present. Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself, we have a quorum. Commissioner Vasquez, if you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I had one citizen's comment. Sergio Rodriguez?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You want to come up? I skipped 4, but there are none.
Good morning, everyone. County Judge Owens and County Commissioners, thank you for having us today. My name is Sergio Rodriguez. I am a leader with the Border Organization and the president of Escondido Estates Resident Association. On behalf of the residents of Escondido Estates, we are here to address line item number 26. The responsibility and obligation of county government is to ensure a safe environment for its citizens. That being said, that includes safe drinking water. On January 3rd, several residents of Escondido Estates attended the CDBG public hearing, and we did make it very clear that we wanted and hoped the $500,000 grant to be used in bringing water to Escondido Estates. In addition, we are also asking that I believe the nearly $1 million plus sitting in the escrow account since 2016 be used for what it was intended for, which is, planning the water lines for Escondido Estates and bringing water to, Escondido Estates, Rancho del Rio. We have been waiting for a very long time. We have the money. We have the money. Let's get it done. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go back. I skipped an item. Water. Skip number 4. There are no minutes, though. Item number 4, approving and or amending minutes from previous meetings. There are none. Just so we'll do that one for the record. Item 6, approving monthly reports from elected officials. Move. Have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 7, approving bills for payment. Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 8, discussion possible action to approve auditor's report. Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 9, discussion possible action on budget adjustments. We'll do this one at a time. A, Sheriff, operating $1,063.28 for Sheriff capital expenditures. Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. B, general capital to Constable 1 capital for purchase of body armor. We have this in the budget in order to purchase his vest. Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. 10, discussion possible action to approve the treasurer's report. Second. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. Everybody in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. If y'all don't mind, we'll go to item 35. Discussion possible action proposed shooting range located at the SU Ranch. This is a project that's been ongoing. The dollars that they've come up with, and I presented you all the last time, was about 3.5. The numbers that we got here this last go round was $3,641,114.76. There's probably about $900 and some odd thousand is what I'd calculated the last meeting that we had, and I brought this to y'all that could be done in-house. So at the end of the day, we had 1.4 2 million, in grant still left. And you do all the numbers, you're somewhere around 1.4, $1.5 million that there's still a balance that needs to be done. Out of those numbers there, just to give you an example, there's a line item here for a building for 436,202. That building, that cost right now, when we got a cost last week, the building itself was 118, another $100 and some odd thousand to put it up. So there's still, I believe, room in here to bring the price down from about the $1.4 million, $1.5 million that it would cost the general public or cost the general fund. I know there was concerns about, there was a couple of concerns. One of them where it was located, and then there was another concern, Commissioner Flores, you'd had concerns also about health issues, health risks, and then the cost. So I think at this time we need to figure out if we want to continue to move forward with this project. There's a lot of time being spent on it, and if we don't move forward, then we'll have to come up with what the cost is going to be or where's the stopping point, so we don't end up with any more cost. That's pretty much it, Carl.
Judge, is there any way that we could show this, information to the people here present on that screen concerning lead pollution? County facing $1 million lawsuit for approving gun range.
Can we scan it? Do you have it? Okay.
I think there's quite a few of them, you put them all. Okay. Whichever, it don't matter, whichever one you want.
Gave me homework right before the deal. I guess the concern has been, what are we gonna do with the lead, or who's gonna take care of the lead? One of the papers that I was just handed, lead poisoning, a hidden danger at shooting ranges. With more women and youth joining the 40 million Americans who enjoy gun sports, experts say that the use of lead ammunition can pose deadly risks. Julie Levine asked the Assembly a question as to where the bullets were made and what they were made out of. This report says, bottom line is we all know they're made out of lead. Levine was starting a family, and her companion at an all-female retreat, Go Camp, was pregnant. Her exposure to lead can put a woman at risk for miscarriage or birth defects. And then there's some areas in here, I guess we could go through it and read it all. I guess the main concern was the lead and the exposure to it. I know that we've had conversations about who's going to, once we shoot, once we start to shoot in this building, if it's approved, what happens with the lead? Who picks it up? I know that there was a concern when we first started, and it was one of the concerns that Commissioner Flores voiced was just the gunpowder when you shoot, everything that happens from the time you shoot. I know that we tried to address it with one of the building that we're sort of following. One of the other buildings that we looked at was the fans, in order to get some of the smoke and when you shoot the gun, get that out of the air. But what happens to the lead? Come on up. I don't know if you're raising your hand or you were twitching your eye, but one of the concerns is, and I guess we'll go through this.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they need to know what's involved, not just that we're going to build a new building and we're going to have, instead of 6 lanes, 10 lanes or 12 lanes. There's a lot of health issues involved, indoor, outdoor facility, and people need to know about that.
And I guess one of the concerns that we've been going back and forth with Commissioner Flores was, And I will tell you that I mean, we're gonna vote on it today. I think we'll vote on it. But like he said right now, everybody needs to understand what happens and what type of liability, the county is exposed to. Right now, in visiting with Tommy, you know, his deal was that they're insured, and as long as 4-H is using it, they would be insured. But he's got a legitimate question. What happens with the lead? Who's gonna clean the lead? And I'll start with the indoor, and then we'll go to the outdoor. With the indoor facility, once we shoot, goes to the wall, who cleans it? And then who is going to handle that part of it? You know, in the range that we have now, y'all take care of that, right? And, do the kids touch it? Do the kids handle those bullets after they've been shot? Okay. The facility that we have now does not have the fans that this one has, does not have the doors on the end in order to get some of the air out, does not have.
We do have a fan in the end, on the far end of the building, suck the air out.
Okay.
And when, of course, the doors are open, we open the doors.
You have one 36, and I think one, maybe, there used to be a sliding door there?
Yeah.
Okay. And this new building would have 2 big roll-up doors on the shooting line, one on each side. So,
In addition to that, we would have a filtration system that collects the gas as the guns are fired or over the range, over the firing line. The gas is collected, and then it would be exhausted, and it would be run through a filtration system, so the exhausted air is not contaminated.
Is this new facility safer than the one we created?
Yes,
Or is lead and
it would be.
okay, one of the other papers that he just gave me right now, I think we talked a little bit about it, was the dust left in the air, firing around, as well as lead bullet that remains in the dirt. Well, this would be part of the outside, but the dust, I mean,
Yeah,
the
what
filtration
we're
system.
trying to do is vacuum, you know, again, the fans are up high, but we're trying to collect as much of the gases that we're firing as possible and run them through the filtration system to minimize risk.
So one of the other questions that was highlighted here, what happens to the lead? What would happen to the lead once it's fired in the indoor facility?
Right now, we recycle it, take it to San Angelo, and they even buy it from us, and, you know, sell it back to them, and it's recycled.
Okay, and who would be touching that? Who would be handling the lead and
Usually we have it in a shovel and in the boxes we got, with our brass also, we have those 5-gallon buckets we fill with brass, we recycle all that. And lead, you know, you could actually probably contract it out, but, you know, people will come in and pick it up, but normally we do it ourselves. Some of the coaches and us get up there and
okay.
load it up and haul it off.
Mr. Humphrey, how long y'all been doing that? For years without a proper gear or, you know, I mean,
Well, ever since we've been in that barn since 1963. Our program was started in 1946. And, we didn't start shooting in that barn until 63. And it's always been recycled out of this. We don't leave the lead in there, it's usually taken out. Sweep the floors, mop the floors, clear out to keep all of the dust and stuff off of it.
Okay, on the inside, looks like we're covering that. On the outside though, with skeet, and he gave me more information here. On the outside, we're shooting shotguns, right? We're not gonna be shooting, so the pellets that the shotgun shoots, I'm gonna start asking really dumb questions here, okay? So the pellets that the shotgun shoots, what are those pellets?
They, the protection parks and wildlife probably has a better grip on it. You know, years ago, they stopped that shooting the lead over the water. waterfowl and stuff,
Mhm.
you still shot. But, lead hasn't been a problem on ranges or anything, but shotgun.
And the outside range would only be for skeet and traps, and no lead
That's correct.
bullet would be, or is it bullet or casing, not casing, but whatever comes out of the gun would not be lead on the outside. Okay. Commissioner, I wish we had a way to show this for you.
No, that's fine, Judge. On the outdoor shooting range or target range, what happens there, you run the risk of contaminating the ground, the soil, water, and wildlife. It says here, shooting ranges are likely to be one of the biggest sources of lead pollution in the country. Sheriff, what do you do at your gun range?
So our gun range was built in, probably 2010, 11. And we went through, Robert Clark did all the studies, but everything just lays there. We're not there was a study that was done, and it's not the water table or watershed or anything like that. So we do not collect at our gun range. It's about 21 miles north of town.
Well, you don't use it every day either, Sheriff. It's once a month or when? I mean, not that often.
So there's the game wardens, us, U.S. Marshals, probation, the GEO group. There's several. A gun range probably sees 10 to 12 days a month that it's being utilized.
You all have a schedule, who goes when, and everything.
Everybody's got to check out a key there at the office. And they sign the key out and sign it.
And one of the other things, I want to go make sure that the next time we have that. One of the questions I believe that you asked was, can people go use it?
Yes, I mean, that the other big concern is that we're gonna build it with grant money or, at the end of the day, it's taxpayers' money. I would love to see a facility that's a building for 4-H and a building for the public. And, but at the end of the day, I'm very concerned with all this health issues involved.
One of the deals, and again, we've had multiple conversations, about public use, and because it is grant money, it would have to be opened up to the public, but that schedule would have to be set up, and there'd have to be discussions with TAC and our attorneys as to how this would work. I know that letting 4-H use this facility, the indoor facility, or the outdoor facility, they cover, they have all the insurance, and then they cover us also. In the outdoor facility, also, we would have to have individuals and set sort of parameters as to how that would work. But we would have to open it up to the public. At the end of the day, there would have to be some usage of that facility by the general public. I think one of the comments or concerns there was that we'd have to hire somebody, and again, we'd have to hire somebody to make sure that once we come up with a schedule, that if this goes through, if we goes through, end up building it, we'd have to hire somebody part-time or something to be able to make sure that all the rules that everything that we have, that we put in place are followed. And, I guess one of the questions is also going to be are they going to have to provide us insurance if a guy goes out there and wants to take his son to go shoot with a .22? Because the indoor facility is only set up for .22. So, but the answer to that question, to the other question that would it have to be opened up to the public? The answer to that is, yes, we'd have to set up some type of schedule for the public.
Judge, and
Yes,
if
sir.
I'm not mistaken, the person working there must have law enforcement background.
Well, we'd run it through the sheriff's office, probably. We'd have to set something up, he's back there making faces. But, at the end of the day, we'd have to run it through the sheriff's office, or make sure that whoever's there has the proper training, and background to be able to run that facility or show up when people show up.
And the other thing that's very important is whoever works that facility must be tested at least once a month for lead level in their blood. There's a lot of things involved, and I'm not against it. I'm just concerned about the health issues, and that we need to really think about building a facility that, and we're gonna have to have OSHA involved in this, and come in and check at least once a month. We're up to standards for the facility. We're doing things, that's, you know, the rules, state level rules. But
You know, in your concerns, Commissioner, you know, we had this conversation probably 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and we had a meeting in here the other day that you were not part of, but like I told that group too, you know, I'm really glad that people are asking questions, all of y'all. You know, I believe that the county, if this is allowed to move forward, at the location where it's at right now, you know, we would have to, make sure that if it needs to be licensed, that it's licensed, that people need to be tested, that they're tested. You know, I think that's gonna have to be a must. I will tell you that when you brought up the lead concern, I visited with Gary right away, and Mr. Humphreys, and wanted to make sure how this is gonna work. You know, and who is gonna pick it up. I would have felt a lot better if maybe we contract somebody to touch it, handle the lead, and we just don't have anything to do with it. You know, if you pay a little bit more and they get to take the lead, you know, but you have to pay a little bit more and not have to expose y'all or other people to it, I would feel a lot more comfortable. But at the end of the day, you have a proposal on the table. Another question was, how are we gonna pay for it? Right? At the end of the day, and we'll jump forward a little bit, before we go take a vote as to whether we're gonna move forward with this, but let's just go ahead and say that y'all voted today to move forward with it. How are you going to pay, and I'm gonna throw out a number, $1.5 million. I think we all think we can get that number lower, but if we just throw out $1.5 million out of the general fund money, how are you gonna pay for it? We have what we call, there are several ways to pay for it, but one of them, we have a hot tax that we collect within the city limits that can be used to pay for this facility. Right now, I think we have 460, I think it's $460 or $470,000 in that account, but we collect about $120,000 a year on hot tax money. That money we could borrow funds and have the money that's coming in off that hot tax money to pay for that note. That would be one option. But again, we still come back to, you know, are we going to move forward with this project? You know, at the end of the day, that's where we're at.
I think if before we put it to a vote, Judge, we need to consider other things that we haven't talked about much. When we bought the SE Ranch, I mean, we bought it with one purpose in mind, and that's to protect Laughlin from encroachment. Zero construction, zero development out there. And I think we're doing a big mistake if we allow this project to take place at the SE Ranch. I think it would be wise if we would look for land outside SE Ranch for the shooting range or target range or both facilities. I would prefer that we would table this item and maybe iron out some wrinkles that are in this project.
The SE Ranch was bought. We spent $6 million on it by the time it was all done, to protect Laughlin against encroachment. one of the compatible use study that is actually in place, I think would allow this. Carlos, would this facility be compatible with, the operations at Laughlin?
Based on the density that we have, yes.
Okay. I know that when we bought it, I actually came out in the paper, did an interview with Karen. And I think back then, we were even going to move, heck, we even talked about a sports complex back in 2019, building a sports complex out there. We also talked about, at some point, moving, I think, the horses out there from the fairgrounds, and then Commissioner Wardlaw said, he'd rather keep it there. Let's try to work together and leave the horses where they're at, which that's what happened. I think all of us have a concern about, doing anything that would hurt Laughlin. But at the end of the day, when you look at the compatible use study that we have, it would be allowable. I'd hate to have to go spend more money on a shooting range or anything else somewhere else, when we've also considered having an industrial park out there right now, and that one, we sort of put the brakes on that one just because of the amount of density, and to wait on the new compatible use study and ask that question to the individuals doing the compatible use study. But I believe that this is a good location. I'd hate to have to start all over, but at the end of the day, I'm just one vote. It's up to y'all. Whatever y'all want to do. I'm going to quit talking. What do y'all want to do? Commissioner Wardlaw, do you have any comments?
I feel that I feel all the commissioners support the project, but this is the first I've heard of Commissioner Flores' concerns, and I'd like to ask David, what do you think, what he's brought up, the concerns that he's brought up?
I mean,
Lead poison and the health issues,
right. I mean, I think they've been discussed, rather openly, by comments by Mr. Humphreys on how the current gun range addresses some of those issues. And those are some of the issues also, as I'm sure, if the project moves forward, that there can be some sufficient planning to try to minimize whatever risks may exist. There's risk in almost everything you do. So you just basically account for those things if this project is going to move forward.
but these are not regular risk as a business transaction. Those would be regular, normal risk. This is something else dealing with health issues.
Well, I mean,
there's
there's health risk, dealing with a sports complex. So, I mean, there's risk in almost everything that happens out there. You just account for it if this project is going to move forward.
Judge, I'm going to make a motion to move forward with this project, to look at paying for the shortfall out of a bond through the hotel and tax.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Do I have a second? I'll second it. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second by myself. And we'll go ahead and take a roll call. All those in favor, Commissioner Wardlaw, you in favor of the motion?
No.
Commissioner Vasquez, you in favor of the motion?
No, sir.
Commissioner Nettleton? Yes.
Commissioner Flores? No. And myself. It's a 3-2 vote. Motion fails.
What is our liability on this, Carl, for stopping this project? Are we gonna have to pay this back, or what do we have to do now?
You have a conversation with the agency.
Okay, you bring that back to us, then we can figure out how we're gonna pay for it. All right? Well, that one's done. Sorry, folks. Item 11, discussion possible action approving invoice 348953 Sanford Water Works for CDBG 7220479 Alcoa Fuel Sod installation of $84,100.93.
motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 12, discussion possible action approving invoice 349027 Sanford Water Works for CDBG 7220479. Oh, I'm sorry, 7220479 Alcoa Field Sod Cost Increase. $10,354.25.
Motion to approve.
A motion, Commissioner Flores. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 13, discussion possible action approving invoice 348885, Sanford Waterworks CDBG 7220479 sod, retainage cost for Alcoa Fields $11,518.17.
Motion.
Motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Discussion possible action approving invoice 348886, Sanford Waterworks for CDBG 7220479. Irrigation retainage $6,862.91.
Motion to approve.
Motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. 15, discussion possible action approving pay application number 2, Patmo Services for CDBG 7220479, Alcoa Field Lighting, $29,610.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 16, discussion possible action to schedule a final public hearing for CDBG 7220479 Alcoa Field Project, January 31st, 2023 at 5:10 p.m. Old County Court at Law Building. Post notice at courthouse and county website.
Motion.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 17, discussion possible action approving an affidavit of posting for the 2023-2024 CDBG public hearing notice. Public hearing was conducted January 3rd, 2023, 5:30 p.m., Old County Court at Law Building.
Motion to approve affidavit.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Nobody? Motion carries 5-0. Item 18, discussion possible action on approving CDBG acquisition report form A 601 water line easement donation for CDBG 7219085.
This is, the land is being donated, or the easement over there off the loop.
This would be the land that's being donated by Mr. Isla.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Vasquez. And we've had a phone call on this one that, we were doing shit underhanded. We've had actually two, that we were doing a water line and then a commissioner had bought property off the guy that we just got the easement off of. And like I told that guy there, not throwing rocks, so just let me finish, okay?
That's fine.
Like I told the individual that called, this water line has been in the works for over, 2 years now. And the plans were given to the city over a year and a half ago. So the transaction that Mr. Isla had done in buying the property, there's nothing having to do with one or the other. This transaction, like I say, the water line was, approved or the court would move forward with it, and we voted on it as a whole, a 5-0 vote to move forward with this water line, way before, Mr. Eastlick bought the property. I just want that said in open court, that way I'll quit getting the damn phone calls. All right?
Can I make a comment, Judge?
Yes, sir.
And of course, the property that I bought, Judge, it's not, has nothing to do, there's no water line going through there, it has nothing to do with what the county's actually doing right now. This property that I have is actually.
And that's a really good point. This water line runs down, Tierra Blanca?
Tierra Blanca.
Tierra Blanca. And this other piece of property that the commissioner just mentioned will not be serviced by that water line at all. It's actually across the dam, across the highway. So, again, you sort of feel the phone calls and just throw that out there, rip the Band-Aid off, and maybe this will, relieve some of the phone calls. Did we take a vote on that one? Okay, thank you, ma'am. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 19, discussion possible action approving TDA self-monitoring report for CDBG 7219085 Rise Estates, San Felipe Pastures, and Vega Verde Waterline Project.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Jesus Christ, Carl. Item 20, discussion possible action approving a resolution to apply for Edwards Byron, what? Byron? Burn? The R and the N, what's that name? Memorial, Criminal Justice Grant Fund for Security Enhancements, deadline to certify application February 9th, 2023. Motion to approve, to apply for it. Carl, can you tell us a little bit what it's about, because nobody's making a motion? Can you tell us a little bit what that's about? That way nobody's making a motion, just sitting on our hands.
Well, yeah. Good morning, gentlemen. Okay, the opportunity that currently exists is with the governor's office, and these funds can be applied for security enhancements. Okay? Whatever security enhancements that the county may want to consider. It could be additional security cameras that need to be maybe considered installed.
And we'd
Could
actually
be
put it-
other security enhancements.
And I think, Ram had sent you a list of stuff that we'd already done.
Yes.
Part of the things that we looked at was, either, mag locks for the doors, stuff. If you go through our buildings, a lot of the doors are actually propped up with a little piece of wood or a doorstop, or have holes in them. So, I think that was the conversation, was to be able to, some of the stuff that Ram had put together for us,
Yes.
to look at it, bring it back to the court, if this thing was approved, in order to be able to go after some of these funds.
And RAM provided that information. My comment to the court would be, I think, kind of prioritize one of the buildings. Don't really remember the amount. Let me just say, I know we can be over ambitious a lot of times with these projects. I've been informed that there's about $350,000 for the region. That's 9 counties. So it's going to be competitive. Could be some more money, maybe, depending on the governor's office. But I think the court may want to consider which in the application, which you actually want to address. You want to do the courthouse or the district
Main
courtroom?
courthouse, district courthouse, an upgrade to the Fitzpatrick, the county.
And I think what he's saying is we might end up having to pick which one we need to sort of tackle first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and there were 2 technologies in those quotes, which were the access control and the Blue Point technology.
Okay. We have another Commissioners Court meeting at the end of this month. What we'll do, Rem, is we'll get together and try to come up with a plan with which buildings, we need to do first.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Just because of the limit, dollar amount.
There's not a match required with this application, but if you apply for, say you apply for 100,000 and your project comes in at the end of the day, 125,000, we either got to scope it back or you got to ante up to 25 grand. So, but a match is not required with the application.
Yeah. So I'm thinking we'll just, between now and the next Commissioners Court, we can bring it back to Commissioners Court to figure out which one they want to end up apply for. That work? Thank you. Need a motion to be able to apply for it? No, motion?
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 21, discussion possible action to determine project for submission to the Texas Department of Agriculture 2023-2024 CDBG Community Development, Fund, $500,000 maximum. Commissioners? Carl, what would be eligible for this grant? And do you need this?
There's a lot of activities that are eligible. Obviously, water, septic systems, streets, power stations, parks, recreational, a lot of different elements.
Okay. And
The
Carl,
main deal is, though, whatever activity you intend to prioritize for the use of those funds has to meet the national program objective. So what does that tell us? NPO is that whoever benefits from that project, at least 51% of them have to meet the low to moderate income criteria. And so if you were to go, let me just give you a little quick, for instance, a fire station, depending on where it's located in the county and who it's going to serve, that primary location would have to be mapped, census-wise to see if it met the 51% threshold. Obviously, if you do a water line like we've done historically in the past, we go by and survey those homes, and at least 51% of the people that live in those homes meet that national program objective.
Are we gonna be able to apply for this if we don't finish the existing project?
We're going to have to complete the project and submit the closeout reports by April 3rd to be eligible to apply.
For the existing project? For the existing projects?
Yes,
And they have to be completed by April 3rd?
yes.
Will we meet that deadline?
We get started.
Commissioner, the precinct, work from the bottom up. Precinct 4 is already laid in, I would imagine over 1,000 feet. About 2,000. About 2,000. Okay. Precinct 2, we've not started yet. We're waiting on where to cut through a gate,
Right.
stuff like that.
We're working on the gate actually today.
And then precinct 1, we have gone through the process of getting a loader already in place, because that was one of the things that was holding us back. We've already, we're doing a requisition, if I'm not mistaken, he was doing a requisition for the rock saw, right? That was, and then the amount of sand, I'm gonna answer your question. The amount of sand that we needed, that was figured out on Friday, right? Yeah, so, and I think there was a question on one of the individuals that did the sand, the lower bidder on the sand, his deal is sand, not trucking. Okay. Answer your question, I think two of them have a really good chance of being complete. Precinct 4 and Precinct 2 have a really good chance of being done, especially Precinct 4, the way it looks right now, because he's a little bit of rock, but needed a sand, but they're digging. I mean, we're moving right along. Precinct 1 is the one that's going to be rough to get done by April 3rd. There's 2 deadlines. One of them is April 3rd, which is a deadline in order to be able to apply for other grants. And then there's another deadline in June, right? That we need to be done by, because we'd asked for an extension.
Well, to be eligible to reapply for additional funds, your current project has to be
By April 3rd.
by April 3rd.
That's what I said. In order to apply for other funds, you have to be done by April 3rd. But in order, so we don't get in trouble with the funds that we have right now, that deadline, we'd ask for an extension, and it's until June,
That's correct.
right? End of June.
Judge, concerning, Mr. Warlaw's water project, I will be helping him this week and probably for the next few weeks, haul sand and help him lay pipe down there. I'm gonna send my 2 belly dumps this week to help him, stockpile a lot of that sand up there.
And I
Be ready
signed,
and handy.
I signed a while ago for the PO for the rock saw.
Okay. All right. Well, we have 2 dates to shoot for.
Yes, sir.
But we need projects to be able to apply, to go through the process to apply for other projects, so we need those projects. So can we bring
What
them?
this money for in the past? Where's this money been used in the past?
I'm sorry?
Where's this money been used in the past?
Alcoa Field was the most recent.
Can we still use it for those type of projects?
Yes. Depending on the location, you know.
Can we enhance the soccer fields that we currently have?
It could be a substantial, yes, eligible activity. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
The Alcoa Field, if I may right quick, we validated the Alcoa Field by surveying, Chaparral And a couple of those Colonia areas in there, we went house to house and surveyed all of them and submitted that with our application, and that was approved by the state agency, yeah, that those people there would benefit from that. So something similar to that could be done again.
So
We actually went above and beyond. We probably could have done it by census, but we did it house to house. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. So if we were to set it for the next meeting to bring you back projects, would that be okay, or is that too late?
Yes, sir, that would be fine.
So on this 500,000, if each one of y'all will bring something back so we can vote on it, so we can move forward with this, and we'll just plan. I mean, this is just going to be a part of planning and saying that all the projects that we have, the 3 projects that we have going, are all completed in order to be able to apply.
Yes, sir.
But we'll go through the process of bringing back projects so we can vote on. All right? No action is needed on this one, other than we'll put it on the agenda for the next Commissioners Court meeting to be brought back. Carl, don't leave. Discussion and possible action. Item 22, discussion possible action to determine a project for submission to the Texas Department of Agriculture 2023 CDBG Colonia Fund Construction, $1 million maximum. And again, Carl, these projects here, I mean, we can sort of come back with a list the next meeting. Right? This grant here, this project, this money here, also it's tied into the completion of all water lines by April.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Commissioners, if y'all will bring back projects, and what we'll do is we'll get you a list, more or less what we've done with the 500 in the past and what we've done with this other money that's available in the past, so you can have an idea of which projects to bring to us. All right. Any questions? Item 23, discussion possible action on the quarterly report, 4th quarter Texas Parks and Wildlife Target Range Project. There's no need for that one. We will have to pay some invoices as we move forward that were already done anyway.
You're gonna get us a answer to if we need to pay back the planning portion or what we need to do with that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no action on 23. Item 24, discussion possible action on a vehicle to be left at the county courthouse to be used by employees for errands and funds to be paid out of available appropriations. We've actually got, and I don't know if it's gonna be too big, we have a lot of employees. I know that county clerk's office, since she's been in, her employees have run a lot of errands just to go get stuff or bring stuff in. I think one of them was even envelopes and right, I mean, so at the end of the day, we have a truck that Tom is not using anymore. I don't know whether y'all would want to make it available for all the other departments that are here and have it checked out.
How are they gonna work the schedule as to
They can
when
work
to
it.
use it or?
We can work it through the judge's office and they just set up
Okay, you
the
coordinate that.
Does that need a motion, Judge?
I would like, yeah.
Motion.
A motion, sir. A
Second.
motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Discussion possible action on Escondido Waterline Project. Escondido Waterline Project, letter to the City of Del Rio. Need permission from y'all to send a letter to the City of Del Rio that, asking for inspections on the water line out at Escondido, and that we will begin laying the water line, but will not hook it up to the existing water line until we come up with a solution for the pressure for not only the existing water lines, but the water line to be laid. And then at that time, they will put it on the Utilities Commission and take it before the City of Del Rio. But they're not guaranteeing that that water line will be accepted because of the lack of water pressure. So there's a couple of things, we can get started with the water line, but we need them to inspect it. But again, if, there's no guarantee that they're gonna accept it because of the water pressure that we have, today in the existing water line and the other 14,000 feet, because it's gonna,
So there's a chance we can lay the line and the city won't even allow us to hook it up.
There is an absolute chance that we will lay the line and the city will not allow us to hook it up.
And we have how much money tied up in that?
We had $1 million grant, $420,000 set aside from, ARPA money, so about 1.4, plus any other expenditures that we've done, out of each precinct that they've, either labor that they're gonna do or,
The final serve, how many people?
yeah, well, all the lines in this one either are 42, 36 or 42. So looking at Elizabeth, she's not looking back. 36.
So we spent
The other
over-
projects, I have no idea.
We spent over $1 million to supply 36 people with water.
Well, to be perfectly honest, there's still precinct 2 and precinct 4 that I have no idea what those numbers are with the last
No, I'm
extensions.
asking just for Escondido, I'm not asking.
Oh, Escondido, there was $1 million grant. Well, there was more than that because this last batch was $1 million plus 420, but it was for all 3 precincts.
What have we spent at Escondido since we started that project?
I would not have that number, Commissioner, right now. I wouldn't have it.
Matt?
I haven't quantified that number. I know that we were researching it. I know that we talked about it, and that number escapes me right now, but I think we're in the 300s. And then you said before the 16, during some
I'm talking
different,
about from the very beginning when we started this.
Mhm.
We've dumped grant money into it and then we've dumped taxpayer money into it.
And what was the start date?
I don't know. It's too-
We started talking about it when we first came into office in 2011, 2012.
I tracked it from 2016 up. So whatever the costs were from 16 down to 11, 5 years. I
At
don't
the end
know
of the day, you know,
That's gonna
we're
be a
in
rough
too
pull.
deep into this project.
what the different.
We gotta move forward with it.
It's awful ironic that we just spend millions of dollars to get 36 people water, but we can tell our kids to go to hell. It serves hundreds.
There's a lot of health issues involved. You wanna
There's
get
not
them all
much
sick.
issues involved. Just an excuse, that's all it is.
Make a motion on the letter, Judge. Have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against?
Aye.
4-1, motion carries. Item 26, discuss and possible action.
We already did that one. Didn't we?
26, no. No. Item 26, but I'm glad you're engaged.
I'm always engaged.
Discussion possible action on comments made in January 3rd, 2023 hearing. Quite a few comments. A lot of them after I left the room, they were not happy. Though they were concerned about the 900 and some odd $1,000 that we still have in the bank that we're fixing to use for grant money, the grant money that we're fixing to use for a study. So that's happening. That's gonna happen, and you addressed it a little while ago in your comments, Secretary. The concern also was the roads, the way the roads were out there because of the way the water lines were run, and that the roads needed to get fixed. The project that they came up with was one of the projects that they came up with was the project that we just voted on to send a letter to move forward with. That was taking too long, and that a lot of the other projects had taken too long. There was people that made comments about once you got up Whale Trail, past where the water line is now, up Cocobolo, that when was that going to start? That can't really start and don't even really have a good timeline on it for the simple reason that we haven't got done Quail, Fox, and Buck Trail. So once that's done, then we could figure out what we're doing on the rest. I guess a lot of the concerns were information on how do we hook up to water, How come there's been no backflows? And what have we done? I know that, last week, Elizabeth, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but last week, a letter went out to everybody explaining to them that if they had a meter installed, as of today, then we would be hooking up backflows. But if there was no meter installed on your properties, then they needed to go to, the city and go through, their process. One of the things that has changed to the city also was that a backflow permit outside of the city is no longer required, but you will have to turn in the paperwork to the state, whoever installs the backflow. Again, the main concern was, when are we getting done with the water line on Fox, Buck, and Quail? And like I explained to them, we're moving forward with that one. We have deadlines that we still have to hit. Everything else past Quail Trail, that will have to come back to the court for approval. But that's where we were at. Just wanted to give you all an insight as to what was said. Y'all have any questions? No? Okay, no action is needed on that one. Discussion possible action on relief route from current International Bridge to SL 79. Carlos, is there some way to put that map up or give me something so I can show them? Get up and go. The route that was, one of the routes has been proposed, and when we get up and put it up there, sir?
If I may, Judge Owens, on item 26, the one you just finished discussing, I think the purpose of that hearing was to hear from people as to how they wanted the CDBG grant money spent. I don't know, unless I missed it. I don't think that was.
But there was no, but we can go back, let's go back.
It was
Just for the sake of transparency.
right.
Let's go back. Real quick, discussion possible actions on comments made on January 3rd, 2023. The hearing was for other projects, ¿verdad? But the hearing sort of took a right turn and just took off on other, it didn't go down that road, ¿verdad? What y'all were concerned about, or the majority of the people, there was one person that spoke on Moreno, about Moreno, if they want water on Moreno. Everybody else, pretty much hammered on Escondido and the water line that, needs to be laid and how come it hadn't been laid. The one that we already have grant money for. There was no, and then there was a discussion about moving water from Quail Trail further up Cocobolo and into the subdivision. Right. Did I miss something?
Well, I think I just need clarification, and I think the grant writer here can help. We were under the impression that the purpose of having that hearing was to hear from citizens as to what they would want to have the 500,000 CDBG grant money used for the following year. Was I mistaken?
That was the purpose.
That was the purpose. So I wanted to hear this morning, acknowledgement or, that the citizens present that night were saying, we want the 500,000, future 500,000 grant money to be considered for, areas that need water. In particular, the majority of the people here that night were from the Escondido State. That was the message. That was it.
Yeah, and their comments were to extend water from Quail Trail
right.
up Cocobolo.
All right, that was it. Thank you.
Okay. Carlos, can you put something up? Lost my template. Can you make that bigger? I can't see it. Can you make that bigger? If you don't mind. Visited with the city, last week. They want to know, if we would help them create a relief route, from the, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering, I'm still trying to calm down from the other one. I'm trying to try to create a relief route from the existing bridge. And this sheet, this piece of paper here was given to y'all, I think, about 4 meetings ago or something. But bottom line is, are we good?
Pretend I'm not here.
The bridge is here, POE. There was a map drawn, to get traffic from the bridge out. I guess I should have backed up. This one here is my piece of property, just so everybody knows.
Is that
That one on the other side is another piece of property.
self-dealing?
Huh?
Is that self-dealing?
No, I can tell you that, I'm not gonna vote on this, but I will present it to y'all. I think we're fixing to displace a lot of individuals, no matter what y'all do down there. I will tell y'all that, this road where Qualia is at, if you go straight down Qualia, I don't know, 200 or 300 foot right of way, you have a house on this side, where Boner Lane is at, right there at the point, Carranza's old house. On the other side, you have a lift station, that's where going into the lots to the houses.
Lupita subdivision?
Yeah, and then you have trailer park a little bit further down. What the city's asking is if we could come up with an idea for a relief route, and then if we would help, because, and Mayor did tell us this time, because it's outside of the city limits, could y'all, take care of this? All right, so I'm bringing it to y'all to see what y'all want to do.
It's hard, but I would think, Judge, go, down, the Qualia Relief Route into Qualia Lane, cross against, through the land that the L-Tigers own. I mean, that's Highland, and just go straight down that way, because the way it's showing.
Either way, you're gonna, no matter what y'all decide, whether it goes this way or whether it goes back up this way and comes through here, you're gonna have all these people here upset.
Yeah.
You're gonna have all these people here upset. You got a guy here that you just told me that just bought this 90-some odd acres.
Yeah.
We didn't go look at it anymore after this map was drawn because
Is that route
nothing's written.
across from the San Felipe Creek or above the San Felipe
Didn't
Creek?
cross it. There's a creek. So in the flood zone, so it'll cross it down here.
Is all that land in the bottom from the San Felipe Creek, on the Star Ranch, Mota Ranch, and those properties there, they have no title. That was land that belonged to Mexico, and back in the 50s, that big old flood that they had, the river jumped and stole land from Mexico. That's what I was told. The river used to run right there where San Felipe Creek used to be. I don't know, it's gonna be all kinds of issues, but I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be a tough one there to pick the right route.
Well, I'm bringing it to y'all because the city asked me to bring it to y'all in case the court would be interested in moving forward with some type of relief route from SL 79 to the original, bridge that we have right now. So I told him that I would bring it to y'all. If y'all don't want to move forward, if you do want to move forward, I need something to be able to tell them back.
No, we can move forward, Judge. The only thing is we have a couple more options. Is to see which one's the best route for.
So Judge, are you asking for a public hearing on this?
I'm asking for y'all's opinion. I'm asking for one, do y'all want to move forward with the city and come up with a route? Or do y'all just want to leave it alone? That's one. And two, if you want to come up with a relief route, do y'all want to pick another route and go through that? I will tell you, either route that y'all pick, it's just gonna be a lot of people mad.
Yeah.
It was just, if you come up here, you have all of Pepper Lane, all that area up there, you have the Brinkley and that's right next to it, and now you're gonna stick a 300-foot right-of-way separating Pepper Lane and Brinkley Estates. If you go down here and do this one, you'll have, you've got Carranzas here, you've got Lupita subdivision, you've got the trailer park, and you've got the Star Ranch, and then you've got the people that just bought this one just so they can have a place to raise a garden. And Herda, and all these people right here that are fixing homes. Either way, you're gonna make people mad with any route that y'all pick.
Can we ask for a public hearing?
We can.
Can we vote on that?
Yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Let's look at the date. Our next Commissioners Court meeting is on the 31st. Carl, what did we schedule? You want to schedule a public hearing? It would be good to schedule something in the afternoon just for this, that way those people can show up.
Whatever you say.
So we can schedule something, we don't have nothing scheduled on the 31st for you, Carl, right? Do you have anything scheduled for you on the 31st of this month, Carl?
Currently, no. So we're good at a final public hearing,
On the,
on
that one is on the 31st at 5:10. It's on Alcoa Field at 5:10.
Yeah.
So, it's item 16.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll schedule that one at 5:10 and then schedule a public hearing. It'll give us a couple of weeks to send letters and get some information out to these people here, Lisa.
I'll second that motion,
All
Judge.
right. If y'all don't mind, we'll do a public hearing, January 17th at 6:15, and that was a motion by Commissioner Wardlaw, second by Commissioner. I'm sorry, 31st. You don't want to do it today?
6:15.
On the 31st, I'm sorry, my bad. January 31st at 6:15 here at Commissioners Court. Had a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Okay. I get that one right? Everybody good? Item 28, discussion possible action on setting a salary for mechanic in the sheriff's department.
Thought we already had a salary.
We have a salary set of 30 some odd thousand. The problem is that we can't get nobody to apply.
So the entry level salary is 33,446, and I like to get a good mechanic to be able to work on our vehicles. Right now, we're not getting that.
What are you asking for?
43,800.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Take out,
They already have it funded
So-
because the position was there.
Yes, sir.
take out of sheriff's fund.
Have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Nettleton, don't shoot me. Second, Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Item 29, discussion and possible action on the purchase of AEDs, defibrillators. We had this conversation probably a couple of years ago, and I think we bought one or two. But I didn't know, and I think this question had come up.
To buy them and put them in the courthouses and.
We never did.
Foreman's vehicle.
We did never make that motion. We talked about it, never made the motion. We went back
cost.
anywhere from 1,800 to 3,300, depending on the machine.
How many do you need, Judge?
Well, that would be
One for each floor in each building. And then at least the fairgrounds doesn't have one.
So does training come with it?
Foreman's
golf
vehicle.
course. Yes, sir.
Training comes with the purchase.
I'd say somewhere around, Jesus Christ, we're fixing to spend a lot of money. If we just had, to start off, you have the 4 precincts. You have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Do we have them at the fire station? Or on the
They
fire
have,
trucks?
they have,
Sheriff has them?
Sheriff,
Do you have them in your vehicles or?
We have some in our vehicles, and we have a patch of new ones that we need to get the training on to be able to deploy.
So all of your deputies are trained on using? Good.
if we could start off with about 12, the problem is that they're, not the problem, but
What's the life expectancy on these? The life expectancy?
3 years. That's what
You have to replace them every 3 years?
3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years, I believe.
You're looking at about $30,000 to start off with the first batch.
Can you use bond money for that, since it's only a 3-year life expectancy?
It's 20 years, or because of the way the fund, the certificate of obligation, where we have money right now, it's a 20-year, because was the life of it, you know. Is that correct?
That's correct. It is a weighted average, so spend the majority of the funds on long-term assets, and if you spend some on shorter-term assets.
But this was on long-term, this note, and 3 years is gonna be rough.
Although it is a very significant amount.
There, we can use,
252 in contingency. You guys want to- we got some money in,
ARPA money, there's 1.5 in that one.
there is 1.5 in that, and it's 1.5 for worse.
Mhm.
You go that route, 216, I believe there's some court discretion money funds there, not 30,000, a portion.
How much do we have in contingency?
252.
I don't know how you can have 252,000 in contingency when we only set aside 200.
Yeah, we must have, raised some funds from the insurance fund over in contingency, or we've certified revenue and we put into contingency. It can fluctuate and go up.
Okay. So we just need to make sure we look at those numbers before we start dropping. We have ARPA money that we could take at least $30,000 out of to begin this process.
Judge, has Jerry covered, our department? The defibrillators?
He has some.
He's got some already?
Okay, he has some.
What's gonna be the total cost at the end of the day on this?
Depends how many you want to put in. I mean, I figured right now about 12 different areas to put them in. Each precinct would have one. Each one of them.
What we saying that?
Possibly could be grant money to purchase those.
Okay. Do y'all want to come up with a number, tell me how many y'all each have, and then we'll come up with a number and then try to apply for grants? What do y'all want to do?
Yeah, I think we should apply for grant money.
Is that your motion?
Well, yes, okay. I'll go ahead and make the motion.
All right. I'd like to set some money aside at least for these courthouses right now, and the reason is, I mean, we all saw what happened on the football field. Shit can happen in just a blink of an eye. And
I'll make a motion to set aside enough to get
Hold on.
one free.
You still have one motion.
Do you, will you rescind your motion? That way we can get, or you want to take a vote on your motion?
I mean, if we go with my motion, it won't delay the purchase of this.
Oh, it will, because we still have to apply for the grant.
Okay.
But there's a motion on the floor.
I'll rescind my motion.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to buy enough for the district courthouse, the county court, house, the Patrick building, and to take it out of ARPA money, and then to look for grants to do the rest of them.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries. Item 30, discussion possible action on a resolution in support of the city of Del Rio efforts to keep American Airlines. I needed to see if y'all would be okay for us to type up a resolution for all of us to sign in support of American Airlines. When you look at their percentages, I think they've met their contract as far as a percentage of individuals that needed to be flying. The cities also had put aside some money the last go around, I think, a couple $1 million or something to keep it going. I think it's a necessity.
Make a motion to authorize the judge to prepare a resolution to the city in an effort to keep American Airlines and authorize all the commissioners to sign it.
Second, Judge.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Discussion possible, item 31, discussion possible action on money for 2021 certificate of obligation and ARPA funds. There is also, Commissioner Flores had an item, which is number 45, discussion possible action to create a line item for the monies that are left over, $387,599.63 from Frontera Road Project, future Cinegas Road Project. If we can discuss both of them at the same time, I'll put this item on the agenda to see if, y'all wanted to split some of this money or what y'all wanted to do. First of all, if y'all are considering, splitting the certificate of obligation funds, the 2021 certificate of obligation funds, there would be two questions. One, do you want to, take out the 387,000 first and then split the rest, or do y'all want to split the
Judge,
the rest of it?
I'll make a motion that, the total amount of money available for the precincts for special projects be split 4 ways, and to subtract from there the Frontera Road money, and create a line item for that money for Ciénagas Road Project.
So if we, basically the 300 some odd thousand would be taken out
From the total
money out of the 2021, and then,
the ARPA
and then
money.
the other monies would be split 4 ways.
Yes.
So we would be talking about, the 387,000 set aside. So the rest of the balance, everybody would only end up with $424,819 versus $521,719.
How is that? I mean, I sat down with, Matt last week, and we came up with $3.2 million available.
Well, are you talking about, let's do one at a time. Let's do, certificate of obligation money first, and then we can do the ARPA money. That way it's just cleaner. If we do the certificate of obligation money, if we're gonna talk about that one, you had, on, the first one, you had $1,074,200, where Odyssey's at, you had $1 million, and Matt, you correct me. $1,074,279, and we had a $75,000 set aside for a truck, so it left you $999,279. Okay, and then, the other one, the county owned facilities, there was, $1 million, and then we set aside $300,000 for, bucket truck. But there was $258,000 in change that was spent for the bucket truck. And I visited with you the other day. I would feel a lot better out of the county-owned facilities, that $300,000 that this court already set aside, to take that 300 out of the 1 million, for the simple reason that we don't know whether it's gonna need lights, we don't know if it's gonna need harnesses, we don't know what that truck's gonna need once it gets here to be safe. And instead of taking out the $258,000 just for the truck, if we took out what the court set aside, then you'll have money to put into the truck for whatever it needs, instead of coming back or taking it out of your operating.
Yep.
So you got $999,279 out of Odyssey, and then you'd have 700 out of county-owned facilities.
Judge,
Yes.
What
Am I
about
talking
the-
too much?
No, what about the money that we're gonna need to either go to EDOC or IDOC?
That one right there, we had set some funds aside, but I don't know if we got that second. Just let me finish before you
All
start
right.
making faces at me. We had set money aside out of the second set of money that we were getting from, what was it, that 2.8 million out of, operational.
So,
Operational
did we-
stuff.
Did we ever get approval on that, Sheriff? The money that we had set aside for the changeover to either EDOC or IDOC out of operational loan stock? Did we ever submit? We have not got approval for it yet? Have we submitted it?
Yes.
But we don't know if we're gonna be able to use it or not.
We have 1.5 and change out of ARPA money still left. Out of that money right there, could IDOC or EDOC come out of those funds?
It could.
So, just so we move this along, would you be okay talking about that? In other words, let's do the certificate of
I'm
obligation.
not concerned about how we divide the money or what we do. What I'm concerned about is the amount of projects that we have on the table, and there's not gonna be any money left. We don't know what the final number's gonna be on the water line extension in precinct 1. We don't know what, PDOC or IDOC's gonna be. I mean, there's a whole lot of issues out there that we need to address. If we divide this up and spend it now, we're gonna be digging into, unrestricted reserves to possibly.
ARPA money, we have a deadline to spend it. Am I correct? I mean, that we can use it.
Correct. The contract has to be signed by 12/30/24. Check has to leave the bank by 12/31/26.
Yeah, so we have time. I'm not worried about the time. I'm just worried about, I'm not opposed to dividing it. I'm just concerned about the other things that we have on the table, and have we planned it out to where we have enough money and we're not trying to, that's my only concern.
We'll just split the certificate obligation money right now, and we'll give Matt time to, come with real numbers on the ARPA money. Because all of a sudden, we have 3.2 million now, it seems like we don't even have near that.
Not necessarily. You take the ARPA 1.5, you plus the 1.699279.
Yeah, you're there. You're at the 3.2 when you do both of them.
Okay.
You're there. The only thing is though that, and again, I mean, let's do this. I'm gonna take a vote. I need a motion to be able to split the certificate of obligation money. And then we'll come back and figure out how we're fixing to split it. I just need to be able to move on.
Right. And just a point on that CO. As you stated before, these have to be asset lives much larger than what we're used to. What was saving us here with the Frontera Road was a county facility. Those are 40, those are 50-year projects. So whatever we did aside from those, because that was almost half of the CO. So whatever we did aside from that, we bought a 3-year truck, we bought some AEDs. We would have been fine when we waited the average life of every single dollar. But now that we're going to break up the majority of this and then just distribute it to the precincts, it's just something to be aware of, because there'll be something that has to be tracked, and then purchases could be denied.
Well,
Okay.
I agree. We've been busy.
All right.
I agree.
So what is the total dollar amount that we can, split right now on the certificate of obligation?
Available appropriations is 1.7.
1.7?
Hold on.
And so how much do we have in ARPA money?
Approximately 1.5 less the AEDs, so 1.485.
I will make a motion that we split, $1,700,000 from the certificate of obligation and add $300,000 from the ARPA money to make it $2 million and split it 4 ways.
Let's come up with the correct dollar amount for the certificate of obligation.
Okay, what you got?
you have $999,279. That is out of the line item that says Odyssey. Okay? Is that right? We had $1,074,000, then we took out 75. So it's $999,279.
Mm-hmm.
We had county-owned facilities at $1 million. We're gonna take out the $300,000 that the court said that we would take out for the bucket truck. That left us $700,000.
Correct.
All right. Then we had $387,599.63 out of Frontera Road line item.
Okay.
Right? I don't know what that was total.
The 1.7 did not include Frontera, since the agenda item is to move that to Cienegos Road.
Well, and I want to have that discussion
Okay.
for the simple reason that Commissioner, you're asking for the court to give you $387,599.63 and then divide the rest of it 4 ways. That's what you're asking?
Yes, sir.
I went back and looked, Commissioner.
You added all the numbers?
Yeah, and what gets me is that we had an open records request to see what this road cost us, what Frontera Road cost us because it wasn't done in a timely manner. Whatever it is, it's 40% more if we'd have done it in a timely manner, any point of the 8 years that he was here before it got done. Okay, we'll throw that out there. Then this court is fixing a vote because they have the votes to give him another $387,599.63. When you look at Precinct 4's budget, the last 5 years, he spent less money on paving than what the fence cost. Okay, per year. But we're the court, because there's enough votes there, going to give him another $387,000 because there was nothing done out of the 150 miles of road that he has. He spent less than $50,000 a year on paving. But we're fixing to give him another $387,000 and award him for that. And I know he's got the votes.
No, and
I
that's
just
left over money.
No, I'm talking, and right now you'll
All
get
right.
to speak.
Okay, fine.
All right. And I'm not getting mad. Because
No, you are getting mad. You
Well,
are
no, not
getting mad.
yet.
That's fine.
No, the getting
It's
mad
your
is
style.
But we'll take a vote. We'll get his motion. We'll take a vote. I just can't believe that y'all sit here and take this. I don't understand it. No, we're not going to get in a conversation. It frustrates me to all get up that we continue to do this. We pay $1,000 a night for a room, for a motel room, 4 nights. And you look at his precinct, and that's more than 10% of what he spent on paving last year. And y'all, as citizens, continue to take this shit. And I could go on, and on, and on, and on. I think, Matt, and I'm gonna throw some rocks at you.
Okay, what do we got?
You need to audit us, and you come up with shit that we've done wrong, and you need to report us to the Texas Rangers. You've already done it once. I think we need a full accounting of what we're doing. We'll take a motion, and we move on. But I can't believe that the crap that we've been through the last 4 years, that we continue to sign invoices with the work not being done and for them to get paid.
They can be denied. They are in every audit packet.
But I don't understand, once it gets to here, I think that everything's been done right.
No, those,
When I get to my report, no.
if you open your packet, they're all there.
No. There's been stuff that we have stopped, that they've signed, with the work not being done on water trucks, on equipment. On equipment that was brought in that we were gonna buy, and we didn't buy because it wasn't done right.
Right.
So once it gets to us as a court, man, that means that the process has been done right.
It
And then
means
we
the
went
process
through.
either done right or it's fraudulent.
Not gonna have a conversation. Commissioner Flores. Your motion is to remove $387,599.63 out of the $2,086,878.63 that we have left. So that would leave a balance of $1,699,279 to be split 4 ways. Was that pretty close?
That is correct. Judge, let me just state something real quick. Those $387,000 left from Frontera Road project, there will be in a line item created by the auditor's office to be used only for Ciénegas Road. That road is falling apart. It's the main corridor for the industrial park. It needs to be rebuilt. It's not for nothing else but for the road, Ciénegas Road.
And Commissioner, I will agree that the road needs to be rebuilt.
Oh,
And your motion, sir? That's your motion?
That is my motion.
Okay. All those in favor?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you for that. I have a motion by Commissioner Nettleton, second by,
Not by me.
and this is just for the certificate of obligation money. I need a second.
What's the motion?
The motion is that $387,599.63 would be set aside in a line item for, Ciénegas Road, and the other money, which is $279,279 would be split 4 ways. I have a motion by Commissioner, Flores. I need a second.
Second, Judge.
Second, Commissioner Vasquez. Are we good so far? All those in favor? Anybody against? Aye. Motion carries 3-2. On the ARPA money, do you want them to bring that back with an account back with a
Actual dollar amount available.
Matt, can you bring that back?
Yes, you can do that, Judge.
Item 32, discussion possible action to approve the 2022 membership for Ports to Plains and funds to come out of membership dues account. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. Second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 33, discussion and possible action approval of Texas Infrastructure Development Group LLC invoice number 1 for $20,201.61 environmental services to TPWD Target Range Project. Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 34, discussion possible action to approve a donation of sand material from Commissioner Flores' private property directly to work on Vega Verde Road. This went before the grant review committee and was approved, sir. Who made the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second.
Second.
Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 35, discussion possible action. We already did that one. Item 36, discussion possible action for the purchase of 10 pallets of Bermuda grass for 1 field on Frontera Road. This is the baseball field. Estimate cost of $3,800.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner, we have a line item that says out of ARPA, Fairgrounds Parks, and there's $382,000 in there.
Motion to approve and, be paid from ARPA money.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second. Second? Second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 37, discussion possible action on approval of Texas Infrastructure Development Group LLC request for antiquities permit application for the archaeological survey at Texas. Do we have to do this? Okay. No action needed.
What do you mean? We still have to do it.
There's no need of doing that if you kill the project. This is to do the archaeological survey out there at the Target Range project.
Yeah, but don't you still gotta get us a stopping point. We have to finish the planning phase, whether we do the project or not, or we're gonna pay the planning phase back. If we finish the planning phase, at least we don't have to pay that part back. And it's being paid out of the grant, right?
Well, only comment to the court is, the more cost you incur and spend, the more you're gonna have to pay back.
But his concern was, and we visited about this, if there was a part out of the $1.5 million grant which was planning. So if we go through that part and finish the planning phase, would we still have to pay that back?
Absolutely.
If we don't do the rest of the project.
Absolutely. Any grant money that you incur or you obligate, and there's no project, there's no benefit at the end of the day, you have to pay that back.
And where are we at now in this process?
Well, Mr. Powell has not invoiced the county yet, and, this is the first invoice we've gotten from Texas Infrastructure.
So this piece of it is not needed, and I don't know.
Well,
I'm trying to get to the part where we can get to a point to stop that we don't have to pay all this shit back.
right. I was kind of, with the decision that was made by the court today, don't we see a reason to conduct an archaeological survey out there and incur more costs?
And that's fine. I wasn't sure if we could finish the planning portion and then decide not to do the rest of it, at least we wouldn't have to pay back the planning, but I wasn't sure how that worked.
If you continue the planning portion, it's going to come out of the county's pocket.
And we don't know how much we spent up to this point.
This is the only invoice that's been submitted thus far.
We have your invoice still to come, we have Powell's invoice still to come, and then the invoice they submitted is not their final, though, isn't it?
No, this is the first one. Probably
There's
got
still
a,
another one after.
probably got a subsequent one.
Yeah, remember what the contract for Powell was?
110.
110.
We'll pay back $500,000.
Theirs was 79, ours was 45.
I'm just asking. I thought maybe there was two separate parts and we could finish one without having to pay it back. We can't. There's no point in doing anything else. So, okay.
No action needed on item 37.
Don't we at least make a motion to not do it? I'll make a motion not to proceed with the antiquities permit application.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 38, discussion possible action on participating in a program and setting aside money. It's called the Home to Texas program. Individuals from UT would come in over the summer. We get to pay the UT grant funds or some funds for them, and then this is one of also the programs I think that Judge Cadena had with his interns. These individuals would come in, you pay them a dollar amount, and then give UT a stipend for them coming in. They could, heck, some of the pictures when you look at your backup information have individuals even that even on construction, even out on at the precinct yards. Attorneys, I know that there's a couple of them right now that have gone through the program that have become attorneys, engineers. So the departments would get to pick, to check and see once we get a number, how many of them would come in. This is a high dollar amount, but these individuals would come in and sort of learn and get firsthand information. Again, I think it's a good program. We set monies aside the last go round for
Motion to approve.
contingency.
Contingency.
What's the total for this, Judge?
There's a $3,200 plus a $1,600, so it'd be $4,800, sir. Yes. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. You second.
Second.
Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 39, discussion possible action to
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 40, discussion possible action on abolishing the
Make
grant
a
review.
motion to abolish the grants review committee in there. It doesn't serve a purpose anymore.
And just, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw, but just for information purposes, any grant that y'all need to apply for still needs to come back before the court and approval by the court to be able to apply for the grant. Have a motion, have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 41, discussion possible action on accepting roads in Kelly Ranch subdivision for county maintenance roads or Kelly Ranch Road. All the roads.
I'll make a motion to approve the roads have been completed in compliance with the requirements of the subdivision plats.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. Second. Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 42, discussion possible action on setting speed limits at 35 miles per hour in Kelly Ranch
I make a
subdivision.
motion to set the speed limit. The law requires that the court approve the speed limit for it to be a valid speed limit. Motion to set them at 35 for all roads within the Kelly Ranch subdivision.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 43, discussion possible action on setting stop signs at the following intersections in
I'll
the
make a
Kelly.
motion to approve the stop signs as the law requires that the court approve them in order for them to be valid stop signs.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 44, discussion possible action requesting to apply for and accept Texas Community Forestry Competitive Grant Program and to approve the resolution. Commissioner, what's this?
Yes, Judge, this is money available through Texas A&M. And, I'm gonna need, Mr. Carl Esser's help to apply for this money. This money is to help you with landscaping, buying trees and stuff like that.
Do you have an area more or less?
Yes, sir, I've got a small little part that I've been working on,
Is that the one on the river?
on the Vega Verde, yes.
Okay.
When I read this grant, Commissioner, it says it is to save existing trees and stuff. It doesn't qualify for planting new stuff.
Is your motion to apply for it, Commissioner, and then abide by the grant?
Yes, I mean, if that's the case, it's really not gonna help me much.
Okay, so why don't you get permission to apply for it, and then you can read through it? And if it helps you, you already have the permission to go do it.
Okay, that'll be my motion.
Motion, Commissioner Flores, second.
Second.
Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 45, we've already taken care of that. Item 46, discussion possible action on non-responsive bid, 22-27 on a 3/4 ton truck and a passenger 2500 van. Melissa?
Yes, sir.
On the van, I know that everybody's working on trying to get you a truck, but on the van, there was a concern on the van. I called one of the dealers here in town, and he said a 24 passenger, it's not a 20, it's a 15 passenger.
15 passengers.
So you might need to clarify, because I think he's looking for a bus.
No.
Well,
Okay, I will.
just call, okay, because I had a conversation, Friday that this was coming up, and called a couple of dealerships to check and see if we could find something. But he said, well, yeah, we're looking for a 24 passenger. So,
Maybe I did a typo.
okay.
Okay,
Need any action from us?
just to authorize to go out and start
Looking?
looking.
I'll make a motion to go out and begin the process to purchase the 3/4 ton truck. Thank you. Have a motion, Commissioner me? Just so you see Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Item 47, discussion possible action on acquiring new 300 by 10 Spectrum Internet account for the Fairgrounds new office located at, basically it's a cost of $149.98 to come out of utilities. Okay. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 48, discussion possible action approving a lease agreement between Valverde County and George Paul Bull Riding on behalf of Bobby Paul.
Motion.
Okay.
Can we find a place to put them?
Yeah, what we're gonna do is, the bleachers couldn't be underneath the grandstands, so they moved them into the new building on 15th Street. We're gonna try to work it out to where they get done, hopefully, before the last 2 weeks, before the event. That way they can come back over there and open up, I guess like a little satellite office. I do know that the last 2 to 3 weeks, a lot of their ticket sales are in person and there. So they'll be at 15th Street and then get moved back.
What are they charging? What are we charging for?
We charge, $250 for rental, for 3 months, and then $1,000 for each, for the night of the event, times 2. And then there's a $500 deposit. There was a question last year, about moving in and moving out, the bleachers. We'd always done that, and there was a cost involved. That's not in part of the contract, so I didn't know whether they would bring that back, after they get time to talk to y'all.
What's the square footage currently of office space rental in Delray?
I don't know, we get $1.50. Throw that out there. I get $1.50, but that's not with triple net, that's just flat rate.
How many square feet are they using?
I don't know, I haven't been out there, but they're probably using 10 by 20, 200, probably 200 square feet. Commissioner Wardlaw, you made the motion?
Yes.
Okay, do I have a second? Second. Second, Commissioner Flores. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 49, discussion possible action approving a lease agreement between Valverde County and Texas Little League on behalf of Monica Rodriguez.
Del Rio Little League, Judge.
Del Rio Little League, what did I say?
Texas.
Yeah, they ain't even have Texas in the whole sentence.
Motion approved.
All right, I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 50, discussion possible action to request from available appropriations $814 to rent the Darrell Civic Center for the Veterans Health and Welfare event. The event will be,
Motion to approve that contingency.
thank you. Second. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 51, discussion possible action authorizing Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez to transfer $15,000 from reserve account into travel and training line item. Motion to approve.
Why are we doing this, sir?
So,
You have tens of thousands of dollars in travel and training.
No.
Now, you do through all of your different accounts.
So,
You did the budget.
these funds came through the school district. We sent a lot of our deputies for training to be able to comply with Texas statute, for.
Yeah, but can we move reserve money that was in a reserve account over to the general fund? How did we acquire the money?
We acquired the money for asset use, appreciation of our deputies and vehicles. Not deputies, sorry, vehicles.
And why did it wind up in the reserve account to start with?
That's where it was budgeted, and that's where it was, the reserve account is basically just a committed fund inside the general fund. That's all it is. There's nothing, it just means it has a fund balance that rolls over.
This isn't your
Correct. It is
other
not.
reserve account that we take donations and all that stuff from?
It is the same account. It is the same account.
But that's not a statutory account. It is just something the court set up, and the court chose to have.
It's your money at the end of the day, right? That you're moving?
Mhm.
General fund, they
Yeah.
pay the law
Yeah.
to you. Yeah, there's no special restricted spending on it.
We done? Have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 52, discuss possible action to authorize Sheriff Joe Frank Martinez to sign USM-607A for fiscal year 20. What is this, Sheriff?
So this is overtime money, assigned to a, deputy that's assigned to work part-time for the U.S. Marshal Service.
Move.
Second. Motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 53, discussion possible action on approval of human resources.
Second.
Judge, please exclude letter S.
M?
That- S.
Yeah.
That did
Amend
not,
my motion to include letter S.
yes.
Second, accept. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Jesus Christ. Item 54, closed session consultation pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071, attorney-client privilege, B 551.071, contemplated litigation, C 551.072, regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, rollover, whatever. D 551.073, regarding the negotiated contract, lease, or value of real property, and possible action, open session thereafter. E 551.076, regarding security devices, security audits, and security personnel. Y'all will give us the room. We'll go into executive session. That's right. There it is. Lights on. Court will come back into session. It's 11:30. Executive session, no action was taken. Item 55, Commissioners' comments. Item 56, County Judge's comments. Just for informational purposes, we do have COVID numbers. I know we haven't put it on the agenda lately, but we have 261 individuals that are active that have COVID. We did pick up another individual that has passed since December. That's up to 314. The recovery of individuals that had COVID were 23,500. We did do a presentation to the Lions. I want to thank them for inviting me to go speak with them. And one of the things that we told them, which is really impressive by what Tiffany down at Val Verde Border Humanitarian Coalition, we had about 7,800 individuals in 2019 that had come through 2019 through that center. And in 2020, a little over 450 because of COVID and everything else. And then in 2021, they had 22,000, a little over 22,000. But last year, over 49,000 individuals that they helped through that center leave Val Verde County, which is pretty impressive. The month of December, they had, I think, over 7,400, which is the highest month they'd ever had last year. So I want to thank them and all the work they do. I want to thank Roland and for getting me all the information, and the sheriff and everybody. Thank y'all so much for helping me put something together for the Lions. I don't have anything else. If y'all don't have anything else, this meeting is adjourned. Y'all have a good day.